Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis. On the screen are the pairs that we'll be analyzing today, but try to stay to the end of the video because I do have a bonus pair in store, so make sure you stay to the end to find out which pair that is. But yeah, guys, let's get straight into it. So first pair, as always, Euro USD. So for this week, not too much. We're still in that consolidation. As you can see, we've been in that consolidation all week. Euro USD hasn't done too much, but the bias stays the same. It's still sell bias, still expecting the market to head lower. Again, looking all the way back at 1989 to find a really good value of support here on the monthly time frame, because we've broken all the other levels, and we do obviously have this consolidation down there that we potentially could be heading towards. Remember, this is just a level which price could bounce at. It doesn't have to. We could be heading down to some consolidation around the 0.9. That is a big psychological level we could be attracted to. So, you know, this is a level that we could target, but don't be surprised if the market does continue further. So yeah, expecting more downside for this one. Only really looking for sales. Day trading, you might be able to snatch some nice buys for this one, because we are consolidating there, buying low and selling high. But all in all, if price gets back to this resistance here, we've respected this 1, 2, 3, multiple times. So if we can come back into this area, some shorts will be lining up from this level, and you can anticipate price, breaking to the downside through this support here around the 0.99185 mark and hitting that monthly level of support. Preferably, I'll be waiting to see if we can get a retest of this support here, which was the prior low of the range. As you can see, nice consolidation, fake out to the upside, trapping some people on the wrong side, and that's where we got our move from. So I'm looking to see if we can get a retest of that. At this rate, I'm not too sure if we will get the retest, so I'll probably give EURUSD a miss next week. But if you're really looking to trade this one, like I said, short bias, and this looks like a great level to come and retest it and find some sell positions, maybe on the hourly or the 30-minute time frame. And your targets, I do see us hitting that monthly target there around about the 0.98600 mark. So for me, more downside for EURUSD. It would be great if we can get a retest of that 4H stroke daily level, retest this range up here. But like I said, things are still looking very bearish. I'm not too sure EURUSD has enough to go and retest that area. If it does, fantastic. If it doesn't, you can be looking at some shorts up around the 1.00282 mark as well. But EURUSD expecting more downside, back down to 0.98600 for next week. Okay guys, now on to USD/JPY. So for this pair, we broke out the consolidation this week and flew to the upside. We were trading at a very key level of resistance, and I said to you guys, if we break to the upside, we're looking for a push back to these highs. If we broke to the downside, we'll look for a retest of this area and potentially further if we kept falling. And as you can see, I think we just gapped open on Monday. Yeah, we did. Bit of a gap there, and price just was very bullish, consolidated briefly as well during the week, and then another push to the upside. So the market is still considerably bullish. Obviously, higher time frames, monthly, weekly, are still very bullish, and that's where momentum is heading towards. So we got those breakouts, price just started to fly and keep pushing, and actually formed some new highs past the weekly point into 140. So very bullish this week for USD/JPY. And now that we've taken up those highs, this area once was resistance is now obviously going to be term support. So again, the market is very high, very overextended. I know a lot of people will be getting ready to short this pair. Personally, I would be looking to get short as well, but I need a lot to happen before I do get short. I need to see some indication that the sellers are stepping into the market, and then I'll try to ride that momentum rather than be the first person in to catch the reversal and whatnot. So personally for me, I'm looking for price to take out this support here, take out that support, break through that structure. That would indicate to me that, okay, the sellers are stepping back in, and from that I will be looking for some sales to the downside, potentially back into this area, that consolidation, and maybe back to some of those areas that I was speaking about last week. 135, 136.5 would be some nice areas to target. If we don't, and we start resting on top of this support at 139, start throwing some wicks to the upside, then to the downside, sorry, I would expect us to go to the upside and just continue this trend. 141 not too far away, 142, there's not much stopping us heading a lot higher for USD/JPY when pretty much all time frames are bullish. So it's always difficult to short when you've got multiple time frames pointing the same direction. Best thing to do, wait for some retracement and then buy. If you really want to short, wait for some structure to break, like I'm saying here. This support at 138.246, if that can break, fantastic, and then from that, look for some shorts and then we can ride it to the downside, but only when that happens. Again, really nice consolidation we had this week, but price obviously broke to the upside, so something like that would trigger me for some shorts. Again, looking for 136.5 and 135 down there into that consolidation would be a nice target. If we don't see anything like that and we stay above this 139 support, then like I said, I'll be expecting the market to continue bullish and continue to the upside. And again, there's not really much targets to work with USD because of where we're trading. We had some nice targets back down here. Price is obviously trading past that right now, as you can see. The next main target, I have to use the monthly time frame, and that's all at 144.880. So the best thing to do in this case scenario is just use the psychological levels, 140,500, 141, 141,500, 142, so on and so forth, before we get to those monthly highs up there. So yeah, if you're looking at buys, retest the 139, 141 looks like a good target to have, or at least back to highs that we've just created. If we can get back below, break through some structure, and that's when I'll look for the retest for some sells. 136.5 and 135 will be my targets for those shorts, but if we stay above that level, I do believe USD can still go further. So that's my analysis for next week for this pair. Okay, so now onto USD CAD. So USD CAD bullish this week, pushed to the upside, which was expected. We're still looking for these highs to be taken out at 1.32243. So we're still looking for some new highs. Didn't quite do that this week, which is actually a good thing, because if you didn't get into the trade this week, that means it will give you an opportunity to get involved next week. So for like myself, I'll be looking to see if I can get involved and go and take up those highs. And also 1.33 and 1.34, those are extended targets if the market does go and take up those highs. So for next week, we're looking to see if we can have a nice little break and retest of this daily level here. Very, very strong level, 1.30500, very key level, as you can see. So if we can get a retest of this now, I do expect us to use that as support for us to go and run those highs over there and just see this trend continue, because all time frames are quite bullish on this one now. We're all placing higher highs and higher lows. Very corrective, yes, but momentum is starting to pick up pace a little bit. I do think we can see some new highs very soon, and also a very strong monthly candle as well. So I would expect those highs to be taken out sooner or later. So bias for USD CAD is the upside, still expecting dollar strength in the market as well. So yeah, looking for a retest of 1.30600, and from there we'll be looking for some entries to go long, stops below the zone of course, and targets back to the highs. You can look at the targets here on the 4H as well, don't necessarily have to have it at the daily and the weekly highs, but I'll be looking for price to go and take out them, and I may look to push to 1.33 as well, depending on what type of price action we're getting. But we'll just look to target 1.32243 for next week. So yeah, USD CAD looking for a retest of 1.306, 30500, retest that, and looking for a push back to daily and weekly highs for next week. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but if you are enjoying the content and you find it useful, make sure you go hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure you drop a like as well. It really does help the channel out. But anyway, back to the video. Okay, so now on to Euro Pound. So Euro Pound this week, very bullish, as you can see. Last week I was talking to you guys about the consolidation. I said we're waiting for price to break out so you can know that the next direction, the next move for Euro Pound, because things were very choppy, as you can see. But very bullish candle on Monday, and price just kept pushing for the rest of the week. So difficult to really catch this trade unless you're trading breakouts. But I didn't really get a retest of the zone. As you can see, price just flew through to the upside, and when it hit our target, which was this resistance here, very key level in the market. As you can see, multiple times prices retest this level. Big fake out one, another big fake out there second time, retested it third time with that wick, and dropped to the downside. So we knew that price was going to most likely be attracted to this level here at 0.858. And as you can see, price actually broken through that level as well. So if we can stay above this, we'll be expecting price to eventually get back to these wick highs here and potentially see a trend start to develop for euro pound. Because I'm looking at the higher time frames, weekly and monthly, and price is testing a critical level of support. As you can see here, we've had a massive move to the upside. Now price is consolidating, but it's finding support at this level here. So if price can respect this, we could see another swing back to the highs of the consolidation around the 0.9, 0.91 mark. So potentially a bit of a bullish trend could form, and you can also see that monthly candlestick acting as some great confidence as well with that strong bullish engulfing candle. Could see another bullish month push us to the upside as well. So that feeds into the idea that maybe a bullish trend could start to form. And again, euro pound's a very choppy pair, as you can see, but we could be starting a bit of a trend. So looking for these highs to be taken out, but I do want to see price stay above the 0.858 level. So into next week, looking to see if we can come back and retrace and test that level. You can see price is starting to run out a bit of juice now, looking a little bit corrective. So hopefully we can get a push to the downside, retest, form a higher low, and from that we can base some long positions and target those daily 4-hour highs, and possibly see a bit of a trend. So if you want to push the trade, this could be one to push. Wouldn't really recommend it because euro pound does have quite heavy pullbacks and it's not the most trending pair in the world, but of course do what fits your plan. But yeah, euro pound stay above 0.858, looking for new highs past 0.87210, but do want to see a retest that level before going long. So that's my analysis going into the week ahead for euro pound. Okay, so now onto AUD/USD. So for this week, nice move to the downside, which was expected. Long term, we're still looking for these lows here to be taken out. So for the foreseeable future, only really looking to short AUD/USD. Any move I see to the upside, any good rallies I see to the upside, most likely will just be retracement. So we'll look for the lower high and short it back down again with targets right back down at those weekly lows at 0.66819. So still expecting a lot more downside. There's a couple of areas where I'm looking to get involved. This broken support term resistance with the markets actually respecting right now. So next week we'll look to see if we can get another retest of that area, look for some shorts around here, probably in the hourly time frame, and yeah, looking for continuations back down to the downside. And also a second area of interest, just in case that level doesn't hold, I'll also be looking at this resistance here as well. And also a third one, if price even comes all the way back up to these highs, I'll still will be looking for shorts. So in case we have any unexpected moves and we see a lot of dollar weakness for some reason, even pushed all the way back, 100% of the fib retracement back to those highs, that wouldn't really change anything for my bias and where I expect AUD/USD to be heading towards for the next few weeks. So yeah, any one of these three levels, we'll be looking for shorts. I wouldn't expect price to retrace there, but if it does, we'll be still looking to short AUD/USD. This level here looks like a great level to short from, and again, targets back down there, 0.66819. This level as well was that 4H resistance, and also does line up pretty well with the 0.618 fib retracement as well, so some nice confluence. And finally back into our prior high, so even if we push into this high as well, again, shorts will still be looking good, and the risk to reward, as you can see, does look very good as well. So yeah, any one of these three levels, we'll look to short. Obviously, we'll wait for confirmation, and then look to short there, probably on the hourly time frame back down to those weekly lows. So yeah, that is the bias and the analysis going into next week for AUD/USD. Okay, so now on to NZD CAD. So NZD CAD still, again, bearish bias for this one. You can see consistent lower swing highs and lower lows. We're still looking for a drive back down into these lows here at 0.79044. So that's the bias and the direction for this one. As where we're looking to trade it, price is still trading at a very key area and is still having trouble to break through. So if you can maintain respect to this level at 0.80400, this is a fantastic place to go short. Price was respecting a support, resistance many times, support as well briefly, and again as resistance. So if we can maintain that for some more wicks coming into the week, Monday, maybe Tuesday as well, that'd be a great place to go short and anticipate another swing back down to these swing lows at 0.79. If we do break above, not to worry, still having a short bias, still expecting a low swing high to develop somewhere. And this here will be the area I'll be looking for that to happen. Bit of a head and shoulder pattern, if you will, left shoulder there, big head over there, right shoulder, and then push to the downside. It's the same concept, was resistance, broken for false break, retesting it, forming a lower high, and then we're expecting price to roll over. So even though price is quite corrective right now, we might pop to the upside for a bit of momentum, maybe fake some buyers going the wrong way, and then from there we can anticipate the next lower high and trade this back down to the downside into those lows there. So yeah, two areas of value, looking to get involved with this one. If we can maintain this resistance, bit of a trend line confluence there as well, looking for the lower high to develop, that would be a nice place to go short. Break and retest of that level. But if we do push the upside, that could be a good thing, because price is getting very corrective here. So typically not the best kind of conditions to go short. You want to see some nice healthy trending markets, anticipate lower highs and higher lows. When it's getting corrected like this, best really to stay away and just wait for better opportunities, because they will come eventually. But if we do see some momentum taking us to the upside, breaking through this kind of bearish channel, that would be great as well. Still having a sell bias because our main lower highs are still intact. And yeah, retest to this level around 0.81200. Shorts from there will look good, and obviously the risk reward is far greater as well if you do target those lows from that high up there. So yeah, NZD CAD bearish bias for this one, looking for a push down into 0.79. Two areas of interest, 0.80400, 0.81236, and target back down at those swing lows for next week. Okay, so now on to pound NZD. So pound NZD still got bearish targets back down here, expecting price to eventually go and take out these lows. You can see the market is still consistently placing in lower swing highs, so that is helping us with our bearish bias. We're still expecting these lows to be taking out probably next week if we can maintain this momentum. Lovely break and retest of this support here, giving us that next lower high, and now expecting those lows to be run. So expecting more downside into next week as well. Beautiful level of support that that price has just broken through. You can see price action is very corrective, then suddenly momentum comes through. So we're looking for us to retest this broken structure here at 1.895. Retest that broken structure, and then from there we can look for some sales and target a push back down to those lows at 1.87115. So yeah, £4 NZD, just looking for the next lower high. If there's a possibility that price might just drop to the downside, if that's the case, that'll be a missed opportunity really. But if we can have that pullback, shorts from that level look fantastic. And again, targets back down to 1.87115, or even these lows here which haven't been taken out yet, as well, as you can see. So any pullbacks you can see, any upside for pound NZD, most likely would just be retracement. So look for confirmations and yeah, look to get short for this one. So targets for next week 1.87115, and expecting more downside for pound NZD. Okay, so now on to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen still looking bullish for this one. Price is still pushing to the upside. I did say to you guys, if we do break to the upside out of this consolidation, we could probably expect price to push back to 107 and potentially 107,500, which are where we've got the highs up here. Well, more like 107,600 actually. As you can see on the daily chart, really nice representation of price breaking out the consolidation, retesting, and momentum kicking back in. So I do think we can see some new highs. We are still trading the key monthly area of resistance, which I've been talking about for quite a while now, which we could see price respect that eventually and roll over. But at the moment, we're seeing clean bullish structure here. So I would expect price to go and revisit those highs and potentially take them out and see higher highs as well. So if you're looking to trade this one, again, for next week, only buys are really looking good at the moment. We do have this area here where price was consolidating. Let me just move this out of the way. where price was consolidating here, broke to the upside. You can get a retest of this around 106. That would be a nice place for some buys, and just anticipate another higher low forming and momentum maintaining to the upside for this one, because higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, 4H even, all showing bullish structure and bullish momentum. So it's always difficult to look for sales and go against that. Best bet is just to ride that trend until it finishes, and then we can start looking for some sales, because we are still pretty high up. We're still very extended, testing some key monthly areas. So if the reversal does happen from here, we could probably see a big move to the downside, but we're not really getting any signs that's about to happen just yet. So for the time being, looking to push this one higher. 107,600 could take up those highs like we did for USD JPY. A retest of this level would be perfect. Confirmation on the hourly, and then continuing that bullish momentum back up to highs at 107,600 for next week. Okay, so now I'm going to jump onto pound USD, which you can see is still bleeding to the downside. Again, that was our bias, still expecting the market to roll further. We still do have some downside targets for this one. COVID lows, we're expecting price to eventually take out, but monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, hourly, 30-minute, I mean, every time frame pretty much is bearish for this one. So best way to trade it, you guessed it, only really be looking for shorts. There's no point really be looking for longs. Not saying you can't long the pair, but those longs will be short-lived most likely, and the sales is really where the money is at. That's where price is moving towards. So best bet is wait for retracement and sell the pair really on all the rallies. But pound USD, this is our target, 1.14089, roughly where around that COVID low is. That's not the all-time low actually. I did look higher and go back. We've actually got the all-time low here from 1884, actually at 1.05436. So potentially could be heading down to these areas here potentially. So we've had a retest of this major level of support. As you can see on pound USD, very big support here that's held for so many years. Now we've just had a double top at that level. Prices broke through, retest 1, retest 2. I would expect price to make its way back down to these lows here eventually at 1.05436. So for the foreseeable future, I'm expecting pound USD to keep falling, breaking through this support as well. So basically even any major upside move we see for pound USD, get ready to get short really, because all the technicals are pointing to the downside. But back to the video, because that's a bit more long term. So pound USD, expecting these lows to be taken out at 1.14089. Any retracement you can find really would look good. I'm jumping onto the 4H time frame. We're not too far away, so there is a chance we could just roll over. So the best bet is probably dropping to the low time frames, looking for a break and retest of some low time frame structure, and taking some trades off that. Obviously that's not really my gig. I'm looking for the higher time frame moves to look for those major swing highs. Didn't really get much retracement after we broke to the downside. Was looking for a retest of this support here. Unfortunately, as you can see, didn't get that, and price just literally bled to the downside. So hopefully we can find some feet this week, bit of a move to the upside. I'm looking at either one of these two areas here of 1.185 and also 1.175. A push to either one of those areas, I'll gladly get short on this one and just ride that momentum to the downside for pound USD. Still expecting this to go a lot further. So pound USD targets are the COVID lows 1.14, which call it 1.14 really. That's the psychological level that pound USD is probably going to be attracted to, and probably beyond as well. But that is the target, and that's what I'm looking at for next week for pound USD. Okay, so now onto pound CAD. So pound CAD still falling out the sky here, as you can see. We've been looking at multiple monthly targets for this one, but price keeps breaking one after the other and after the other, and still falling out the sky, as you can see, for the past few months now. And we could be making our ways back down to these lows here. I would not be surprised if we do see pound USD go and take out those lows that I'm talking about. I would expect pound CAD to follow and take out this 1.48346. So long term, we could still see more downside. We're testing the bodies of the area right now. As you can see, we're pushing past it, but the monthly candle still hasn't closed yet. It's just opened, to be fair. So you can still pull back up, but we are testing this monthly, critical, I'm pretty sure all-time low support here. Actually, no, stand corrected. All-time low support is actually down here, which is what we could be heading towards overall as well. So we are coming to major levels of support, but jumping into the low time frames, weekly, daily, 4H, we've got no indication that the market is going to return, is going to turn around or reverse anytime soon. So we're still expecting the market to take out these levels here eventually. And again, there's no real main targets to work with. We have to scroll all the way back many years to find any meaningful targets. So we're just going to be using the psychological levels here. We're trading at 1.51. We could be looking at 1.5 here next. And then we've got our main target there at 1.48346 as well. So that's where I'll be seeing the market head to. But for me, I do want to see some retracement. I do want to see some upside for pound CAD. Not really looking for sells in those areas because we are very low and coming into some strong areas of support. So I want to see the reaction first, see if we can get lower high formation and then trade that momentum. So yeah, preferably looking for a push into 1.54, and also still, if we do push high, I'm still looking for a retest of that level there at 1.55. So either one of these areas will make up for some nice short opportunities. But like I said, I do want to see some retracement. The market's far too bearish for me to be jumping into some sales right now. If you're already in some sales, fantastic. Ride that momentum. Take your profits, but you can really be onto a nice swing here. But if we do see some upside, that will give us opportunity to get involved. But I do want to see price come and test one of these two areas here before I do look for any entries to get involved. So yeah, pound CAD looking at shorts around the 1.53-500 mark and 1.55, and targets being 1.54 next week. Okay, so now on to pound yen. So pound yen still consolidating. It has been doing that for the past few weeks now. Price action very messy. Again, not really looking to trade it in these conditions, waiting for price to find some momentum. Breakout in either direction doesn't really matter. We can still trade in both ways. And ride the back of that momentum. If you can break to the downside through this level of support, still looking for a push back down to this swing low here at 156. And if we break to the upside, looking for us to trade back into these highs here at 168. So for me, I'll be waiting for price to break outside of this kind of box here. On the daily time frame, you feel free to trade within that area, but I would recommend to not do that. Recommend against it because price is fluctuating, and the best way to trade this sort of environment is to simply buy low and sell high. So if you do see some rejection around 161 area, you can probably snap some nice pips to the upside, but you want to be out that trade fairly quickly. Same to the upside here around the 163-500 mark as well. If we can see a break one of these areas, that's when I'll start be looking for some short opportunities. Break through 161, look for the retest, and from that will look very good for some sales. And I do want to see momentum as well. A nice strong break, not lousy kind of half-hearted breakout. I want to see some real momentum come back into this one, so we can be confident that okay, the sellers are stepping in and we can trade this to the downside. Again, multiple targets. Long term we can look at 156, but for the week we can look at a push into these lows here at 159-500. So retest, confirmation, and then sells into that swing low there at 159-500. And if you do break to the upside, I do want to see this resistance here cleared around 163-500, and from that is when I'll start look for buys. And again, targets for this one into that double top region there at the 166 mark. Pretty much bang on 166 to be honest. So yeah, buys above 163-500 and sells below 161. In this area for me, it's just it's a no-go zone, doesn't make any sense. So I'll wait for price to make a move. I want to see some momentum. That's the key thing I'm looking for. And then when I can see that breakout, then I'll start looking for my entries. But those are the two opportunities I'll be looking at for pound JPY for next week. Buys back up to 166 or sells into 159-500 for next week for pound yen. Okay, now onto gold. So gold this week, more downside as expected. We're still looking for more downside actually. 1676, 1677. We're still looking for these lows to be taken out there. As you can see, 1677, equal lows, respecting those to be run eventually. Yes, the market is trading in a very, very strong level of support here on the weekly time frame. Multiple wicks into this level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wicks into this level, and we're still yet to see a weekly candle closure in this zone. So it's still a very strong level of support, but with momentum, with structure and liquidity, I expect the market to take out this level eventually. And we did push very, very bearish into this zone this week, but by the end of the week, we pulled back and closed up there. So for next week, I'm expecting to see some retracement to the upside, give us that weekly high for the candlestick. And then I'm expecting another push into this level here. Potentially the breakout, it might not happen next week, might not be the week after, but I do expect us to eventually take out this level here. So like I said, looking for some upside purely for retracement. If you want to look for some buys this week, you can do, but like I said, the market's still very bearish, so the sellers are still definitely in control. So if you do get into buys, make sure you do take your profit and not stretch the trade too far, because I'm expecting this one, to roll over. So you're better off just waiting for sales really. So yeah, there's two levels, areas and levels I'm looking to sell from. Number one, 1740 up there, and also come into this consolidation here around the 1722, 1724 mark as well. Looking for the next lower high to form in one of those areas. If we do whip out the old Fibonacci, you can see price is just in between, well, the 0.5, 0.618 is just in between my two areas of value. So really, I'm not too fussed about taking trades specifically at the 0.618 or specifically at the 0.5. I just generally want to see trades in that area. So we got some nice confidence up there, and I'm just generally looking for the next lower high to form at one of these two areas, and from those two areas I will be looking for shorts. Again, main target will be back at these prior lows here, but eventually I do expect these lows to get run. So again, you don't have to trade it all the way down to those weekly lows at 16.77. It's completely up to you how you want to trade this. You can have a target back down there at those lows. Makes perfect sense. But I'll be looking to see if I can push the trade a little bit further and go run those lows as well. So yeah, gold, looking for shorts. Main areas of interest, 1740 and 1724, and shorts back down to 16.77 for next week. Okay, so now onto Bitcoin. So Bitcoin still, again, a bearish overview for this one. Price has been consolidating for the past few days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Actually, count that wrong. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, since we last spoke about Bitcoin, we're still pretty much trading at the same price in this range. And I said the targets for Bitcoin, looking for a push back down into these lows here, 18,955, and potentially these wick lows here as well. And maybe even we can start the next bearish leg, maybe heading down to the 12, 10K mark potentially. But the market is still bearish. You can see the low lows and lower highs. We've broken through this bullish structure here. This here was now turned a level of what was support, turned resistant. Didn't quite see a retest of that level, so we could see potentially Bitcoin push, test those levels there, and then roll over, because in that consolidation, it really is anyone's business there. So Bitcoin, two areas of value still kind of stand from last week, looking for a push even to 20,800 or 21,800 into that price swing high. From either one of those areas would make for some nice short opportunities, and again, just riding that bearish momentum to the downside. No need to overcomplicate it more than that really. So yeah, 20,800, looking for a retest of that level there, or even better, 21,800. This consolidation, I'll generally just leave it alone unless you want to trade within that range, then feel free. But yeah, market's moving sideways, needs something to happen. We could see a push to the upside, fake some highs, and then we could see price roll over, or we might just break out of the consolidation. In that case, you might want to look for break and retest there. If you can see some decent risk to reward opportunities, then again, feel free. But from a swing up perspective, you want price to retrace a little bit further, break out that consolidation, look for the next lower high, and from there we can look for our short opportunities. So 20,800 and 21,800, targets at 19 not 19, sorry, 18,955, and then potentially also the wick lows here from our previous bearish swing at 17,588 as well. You can look to probably push the trade into as well. So that's my analysis. Still bearish on this one. Structure is still pointing to the downside. Momentum is still bearish. Yes, we are consolidating, but higher time frames still seeing bearish momentum present. So I'm expecting another bearish leg to the downside. First target 18,955, and then we're going to look at 17,588 after that one. Last but not least, onto our bonus pair, which is Euro NZD this week. So for this pair, I'm looking for a lower high to form. Again, long-term targets. If you guys have been seeing my streams lately, I'm still looking for a push into 1.57. So that's still the long-term goal for this pair. You can see we are still placing consistent lower highs in the market here, and we're still looking for another lower high to be printed and another drive to the downside. Our price has had some nice movement to the upside here, again treating it as a pullback into this resistance here at 1.65. If I do whip out the old Fibonacci from the high to the low, you can see we are coming to that 50% mark, and we do also have the 200 moving average as well, rejecting that same price point. So I'm expecting us to form a lower high somewhere in this area. We could already be forming that. So pretty much for next week, just looking to ride the momentum to the downside with long-term targets 1.57. Don't think we'll get there next week, but this will definitely be a key level to target 1.61. Also these lows here and also these lows here, depending how far we push, of course. But what I'll be looking for is a retest of this structure here. We've just had a really nice double top pattern here. Prices had this push to the upside from the neckline, push respect to the same level, drop to the downside, looking for the retest of that neckline, broken support, and from there looking to short to the downside. 1.61, 1.6, 1.59 lines up beautifully with the psychological levels there for those targets. But that is what I'll be looking at for Euro NZD. And all in all, as long as we don't break through this 1.65 mark, so even if this level doesn't hold and we push up again, still looking for shorts at this area here, and again anticipating a push back down to those lows. So it's a really nice swing opportunities for this one. Again, long-term targets 1.57, but that'll probably be a video for another day. So yeah, Euro NZD sell bias, looking for a retest of that structure there at 1.63440. Or if not, if you do drive higher, we'll again be looking for sales around the 1.65 mark. But yeah, expecting another swing to the downside, 1.61, 1.6, and 1.59 for next week for Euro NZD. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the video, the analysis. Hope you have all enjoyed it. If there's any particular bonus pairs that you want to see for next week, make sure that you do leave it down in the chat, and I'll make sure I'll get to it. If you have enjoyed the content, please leave a like on the video, subscribe for more if you are enjoying the content, hit share. Anything else, leave a like if I haven't said that already. But yeah, guys, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you all next week.